This must be the craziest anime ever. The beautiful girl is a Fenrir. When she sees a hungry baby, she unexpectedly offers to have a baby with him, because only when she gives birth can she produce breast milk to feed the baby. Although the baby really wants to have breast milk, he is really incapable of having babies with the Fenrir, so he hurriedly asks her to stop. Why would this baby encounter such a weird thing? Let's start with the story from a few months ago. The main character, Haruto, was originally a student who had been humiliated in school for a long time, so he stayed at home every day and dared not to go to school. One day, when he was checking his mobile phone at home, the phone screen glowed white, and when the light dissipated, he found himself dead and appeared in a strange space. Soon, a goddess showed up in front of him, telling him that after selection, he was chosen to be a candidate for reincarnation, and that she would then give him powerful superpowers and make him reincarnated in a magic world. Later, with a flash of light, Haruto wakes up and finds himself reincarnated as a child of the king in another world. The king is very happy to see his child born at first, but when he takes out the orb to test Haruto's magic level, he immediately becomes sad. According to the orb, Haruto's magic level is only 02 and he does not have any attributes, so he can only cast barrier magic. In this world, people who have higher magic level have higher status. The other princes have reached at least level 40 to 50, and Haruto, who only reaches level 2, is simply a shame for the royal family. So the king decides to abandon him. The result of Haruto's magic level is actually a misunderstanding. The goddess has given Haruto the magic level of 1002, but the orb is unable to observe more than 2 digits, so the king thinks Haruto is a loser, and in fact, he has super powerful strength. Haruto doesn't know he is powerful as well, and at this moment, he is already thrown by his father into a forest frequented by monsters. He heard them talking just now, and he still keeps the memories of his previous life, unwilling to die like this in another world. So he tries to cast the non-attribute barrier magic, only to find that it is very easy to cast this magic, which can turn into anything he thinks in his mind. Also, he can make himself float in the air by putting the barrier magic on himself, which surprises him. At this moment, a huge wolf monster sets its eyes on him. In a panic, Haruto casts barrier magic to attack. He first controls a nearby tree to smash into the wolf, but it fails to defeat it. After that, he digs out a stone as large as an island directly from the nearby ground and intends to smash it at the wolf. The wolf, named Flay, is frightened by Haruto's power and quickly falls to the ground begging for mercy. As a baby, Haruto is unable to speak, but he suddenly thinks that he can use barrier magic to control his vocal cords to vibrate. After trying, he can really speak. Now Flay is even more shocked, sensing the powerful mana around Haruto. She misunderstands that Haruto is the reincarnation of the demon lord, and quickly submits to him, saying that she is willing to be his familiar. At this moment, Haruto falls to the ground weakly because he just excessively used his magic power. Hungry, Haruto asks Flay for food. The next moment, Flay turns into a beautiful girl. And like I said at the beginning of this video, Flay wants to feed Haruto, but she knows that humans have breast milk only during pregnancy, so she proposes to have intimacy with Haruto. This frightens Haruto. Even if he can do that, he will die of hunger before Flay can produce breast milk, not to mention that he is incapable of having intimate interactions with her now. Just then, a strong man comes here with a bag of breast milk. The man is named Gold, a relative of the king and a count of the country. Gold once had a child, who died before birth. After hearing that the king abandoned his child, he comes to rescue Haruto. After being saved by Gold, Haruto has become his child, and Flay, who has been following Haruto, has become his familiar. Haruto wants to go out and practice after being weaned, intending to explore this world, but Gold's family treats him so well, and he is embarrassed to leave. Under their care, Haruto has been growing up healthy. Interestingly, Gold's daughter, Charlotte, seems to be afraid of Haruto. She is willing to interact with others except for Haruto, who thinks it is the smell of a middle-aged man from his previous life on his body that causes his sister to hate him and feels very disappointed. As he grows older, Haruto wants to go out and explore the wonderful world, but he is afraid that the Gold family will be sad, so he casts barrier magic to create a person who looks exactly like him, and he intends to find an opportunity to sneak away with Flay. Just then, Gold finds Haruto. He knows Haruto has a low magic level, and in order for Haruto to survive in this world, he decides to teach him swordsmanship. Haruto is afraid of pain, so he puts a barrier on himself when training with Gold. What happens next surprises Gold. Haruto wields the sword so fast that even Gold, a master of swordsmanship, can't see it clearly, and he can even jump over 10 meters high. Shocked, Gold says that it is impossible for Haruto to do these if he doesn't reach level 30. Gold's words remind Haruto of an earlier incident. In fact, he also doubted his real strength before. In the years he lived in Gold's house, he made an orb that could observe the magic level of more than 3 digits, but it still showed that his magic level is 002. Thinking they said that the highest magic level in human history in this world is 77. He was disillusioned because he wouldn't have a magic level of 4 digits, but he possesses non-attribute magic, so he can cast magic more efficiently, and he guesses that this is the superpower that the goddess gave him. Gold cancels today's training and returns to the house looking very distressed. He voices his doubt to his wife that Haruto might be a demon. According to the secret information of the royal family, someone once had a baby with the demon race. In addition, Flay, who is a demon, has great respect for Haruto, who possesses terrifying strength and is probably not the king's child, but the demons. This incident must remain under wraps, otherwise, Haruto will be very dangerous. Anyway, Haruto is still their child, and Gold vows to keep him safe. Since Gold recently wants to train Haruto in swordsmanship, Haruto can't leave for the time being. On this day, when he is resting in bed, he hears a noise from outside and goes out to check, only to find many of Gold's soldiers have been seriously injured because they were frequently attacked by bandits. Gold blames himself for not taking good care of his soldiers. Seeing this, Haruto feels very uncomfortable. He is very concerned about his family's feelings, so he makes a decision in his heart and then secretly heals the soldiers on the spot with barrier magic, which is one of the functions of the barrier magic that he has developed over the years. In addition to healing wounds, barrier magic can also monitor an area. At night, Haruto casts barrier magic to observe the castle's surroundings, intending to help Gold defeat the bandits. Soon he discovers the stronghold of the bandits and takes Flay with him to go there. These bandits are just ordinary humans, and in the face of Haruto, who has powerful magic power, they are very weak, just like ants. Within seconds, Haruto subdues the bandits' leader. During the ensuing interrogation, Haruto learns a secret. The bandits are actually spies from the country next door, and they sent soldiers to work undercover in the border guards, so that they could easily defeat Gold's soldiers. Upon learning of this information, Haruto does not hesitate to ask Flay to cast fire magic to completely burn the stronghold. In Haruto's heart, his family is the most important, and whoever dares to hurt his family, he will definitely make them pay. Soon after, Haruto writes an anonymous letter telling Gold the truth about the bandit incident. When Gold hears that the enemy's stronghold has been burned down, he immediately asks Flay if she, who is skilled in fire magic, has done this, but Flay denies it. A few days after the bandit incident, while Haruto is resting in his room, his barrier that monitors Charlotte sounds an alarm. In addition to monitoring, barrier magic can also raise alerts when the monitored one is in danger. It turns out that today Charlotte and her mother go to a nearby town to attend a banquet, and worried about them, Haruto set up this barrier around them, but he does not expect that they are really in danger. At this moment, soldiers from the enemy country attack them, trying to kidnap them. Just as the mother and daughter are in despair, a voice suddenly sounds in Charlotte's ears, and guides them to flee to the depths of the forest. What she doesn't know is that the voice is actually coming from Haruto through barrier magic. Under Haruto's guidance, they hide in a cave. Afraid that the enemy will discover the cave, the mother goes out alone to lure the enemy away, but is surrounded by soldiers. She knows that if she is caught, she will suffer something worse than death, so she intends to end her life. At the critical moment, Haruto finally arrives to save her, but she passes out. Seeing his mother so desperate, Haruto is furious, bursting into terrifying power and completely killing the enemies. After calming down, Haruto carries his mother to the cave to find Charlotte, and just when he wants to secretly leave, he is discovered by Charlotte. The reason why Charlotte has been afraid to approach Haruto is also revealed at this time. It turns out that Charlotte has a special ability, which allows her to feel the strong aura of Haruto, so she dares not get close to him. But after today's incident, she is sure Haruto must be a good person. Haruto feels a bit troubled when his sister discovers his identity, and he can only make an agreement with Charlotte that his identity must not be revealed. At night, Gold is very happy that his wife and daughter successfully get rid of danger. Compared to this, what surprises Gold more is that Charlotte, who has always stayed away from Haruto, unexpectedly throws herself in his arms today, and the siblings become closer suddenly. Seeing this, the father and mother feel very happy, but Flay is a bit jealous. From this day on, Charlotte is very close to Haruto and will often come to his room to play with him. She discovers the monitoring barrier in Haruto's room, and Haruto falsely claims that it is ancient magic that he has recently been researching. Hearing that Haruto is interested in ancient magic, Charlotte tells him there are many books about ancient magic in the castle's library. Led by Charlotte, Haruto reads many books on ancient magic and feels very excited. According to the books, ancient magic magic is a kind of attributeless magic, which is very similar to the barrier magic he masters, and magicians can turn it into modern magic by attaching attributes to it. Ancient magic can also create passages between different worlds. This reminds Haruto of his previous life, where he saw a similar plot in an anime. Charlotte curiously asks Haruto what anime is, and Haruto can only tell Charlotte the principles of animation. He thinks Charlotte isn't interested in esoteric knowledge, but Charlotte excitedly says that she also wants to watch anime. In order to fulfill Charlotte's request, Haruto, with the knowledge of the books on ancient magic, successfully uses barrier magic to connect to the Japanese anime channel in 2 weeks. Charlotte is immediately shocked when she sees the anime, but soon there is another problem. The anime characters speak Japanese, and Charlotte can't understand it. To help her understand it, Haruto starts to teach her Japanese. He thinks it would take her a long time to learn this, but it only takes her 2 weeks to master this language. Only then does Haruto realize Charlotte is a girl with great talent. From this day on, Charlotte comes to Haruto every day to watch the anime. In order to prevent Charlotte from becoming addicted to it, Haruto stipulates that Charlotte can only watch anime for 3 hours a day, much to Charlotte's disappointment. Soon after, Charlotte's father, Gold, hears that there have been many robbers in the neighborhood recently, and leads his subordinates to fight these enemies. Charlotte worries that her father will be in danger. Thinking that Haruto is a companion in justice who saved her and her mother, she asks Haruto to help her father, just like the Kamen Rider she saw recently, in order to fulfill his sister's request. Plus, Haruto also worries Gold's safety. He, at Charlotte's request, uses the barrier magic to put on a set of black armor and becomes a handsome black knight. At first, Charlotte also wants to help Gold, but is rejected by Haruto. Seeing Charlotte a bit unhappy, Haruto can only take out a screen, through which Charlotte can see Haruto's next moves. Later, with the monitoring magic nearby, Haruto finds the bandits who have been causing chaos recently, and he easily takes them all down. Just then, Gold happens to arrive. In order to conceal his identity, Haruto has to lie that everything he did is for justice, and he is the executive who guards justice. Gold thinks that the man in front of him may be the one who saved his wife and daughter not long ago, but before he can express his gratitude, Haruto runs away after saying these shameful words. What devastates Haruto even more is that since Charlotte saw him fight handsomely, she has always wanted him to continue helping the innocent residents. In order not to disappoint his sister, Haruto has to take action frequently. After countless battles, Haruto has a title, the Black Knight, and he also becomes a hero in Charlotte's heart. But fighting every day makes Haruto very tired, so he creates a doppelganger for himself with the knowledge in the books on ancient magic, and this doppelganger can help him deal with more things. After he finally arranges everything, one day, 2 distinguished guests come to Gold's house, and they are the daughter and the son of the king. If Haruto were not abandoned by the king, these 2 people would have been his brother and his sister. The prince is very arrogant. When he hears Haruto can only reach level 2, he intends to humiliate him, offering a duel with him. Haruto checks the prince's level and finds he is now at level 9 and can reach level 40, which is thought to be excellent but is still a bit far away from the legendary hero. Unsurprisingly, Haruto easily defeats the prince. Unconvinced, the prince fires a fireball at Haruto, which is easily blocked by him. After that, Haruto casts attributeless magic to replicate fire magic that is 100 times more powerful than the prince's. This makes the prince, who has always been arrogant, completely convinced, and he kneels down and admits defeat. Everyone present is shocked by Haruto's performance. The princess apologizes for the prince's impolite behavior, and she can tell that Haruto is not as simple as it seems. The prince and princess temporarily settle in Gold's castle. Haruto resumes his routine after receiving the 2, and at Charlotte's request, he will often turn into the Black Knight to help the nearby residents. Besides, Clay also joins the righteous at Charlotte's request. She disguises herself with a sexy black leather jacket. Due to her hot temper, she will cast terrifying fire magic every time. In order not to let things get out of hand, Haruto has to bring the situation under control with barrier magic. At night, Haruto hears that the prince invites Charlotte to visit a nearby farm tomorrow, which should be a social etiquette of the royal family. For Charlotte's safety, Haruto takes a look at the route Charlotte will take tomorrow, and really finds a strange place, where a group of men in black are performing strange rituals. After Haruto arrives, the men in black appear to be very alarmed and attack him. They summon many skeleton knights through magic arrays, and even summon powerful stone giants. However, for the powerful Haruto, these just cost him a little more time. Haruto grabs the leader of the men in black and forces him to reveal what they are doing here. Seeing that the leader does not intend to say, Haruto digs a pit directly, intending to bury the leader's subordinates alive. This ruthless act frightens the leader, who hastens to confess that they are here to ambush Charlotte, who is traveling tomorrow, and that all this is actually ordered by the king's wife. she is actually Haruto's birth mother in this world. Thinking that she not only abandoned him but also tries to hurt his family, Haruto is furious. He asks the leader why the king's wife wants to do this. The leader tells Haruto that it is because Charlotte has great talent. This world is dominated by the strong, and the king's wife is afraid Charlotte will surpass her when she grows up, at which point the genius Charlotte, together with her court father, is likely to threaten the royal power. That's why the king's wife wants to kill Charlotte when she is a child. Haruto immediately thinks that the soldiers who assassinated Charlotte and her mother must have been ordered by the king's wife. He vows never to let anyone hurt his family, even his birth mother. Later, he deals with these men in black. The next day, Haruto follows Charlotte to the farm. He then privately approaches Gold and asks him a question. If the king's wife wants to hurt Charlotte, what will you do? To Haruto's surprise, Gold is also aware of the king's wife's hostility toward Charlotte. He tells Haruto about the past. At that time, due to the king's weak abilities, the royal family's prestige began to decline. Until one day, a talented female knight appeared, and this female knight led the army to win in many battles that they were originally impossible to win. Later, the king married the female knight, and the royal family's prestige was restored to its peak again. This female knight is the current king's wife, and now she is becoming more and more ambitious, even than the king. Gold does not dare to resist easily because it will not only divide the country, but also put his family in danger. Haruto tells Gold that this will not have happened if Gold is the king. Gold knows he has no political talent, but he believes in Haruto, whose growth has been in his eyes. Haruto, though not against Gold's words, thinks to himself that what he is going to do is not to be the king, but to protect Charlotte until she becomes a good queen. He looks at the lovely Charlotte not far away, and he makes a decision that he is going to see the vicious mother personally, which is the end of this part. This must be the most tragic male protagonist I have ever seen. In his previous life, he died in his home because he was humiliated by his classmates. When he was reborn in a new world, he was abandoned by his parents. Now he finally lives in a warm family, but his mother who abandoned him frequently sends killers to destroy his family. Luckily, Haruto has strong power. In these years, he may be aware of his special abilities. I hope he can solve his trouble as soon as possible and live a happy life as he wishes. Well, today's video ends here. If you want to see the subsequent story, please like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye!